It can be so hard to not get stuck in the mindset of my child is so behind. My child should be doing this or that, and they're not. That we forget to stop and celebrate the successes that they've made. This can be especially challenging when we have neurodivergent teens and young adults, and it seems like they should be able to do more than they are, but it is really important that we pause to celebrate their successes. Hey, I'm Crystal Wagner. I'm a professional life coach. I'm also a late diagnosed autistic ADHD mom of two neurodivergent daughters, and I have seen this happen multiple times. I go back to what Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. What we look for is what we find. As I am watching my daughters, when I'm thinking, they're not doing this right, they are getting stuck, this is happening, it's this spiral downward, and all I can see is what's not happening. But if I pause and I think about what they have done and the successes that they have had, I realize, wow, they've actually come a long way in the last 6 months, in the last year. And when I start mentioning that to them, it really boosts their confidence. It helps them see that I notice what's happening for them. I see how hard they're trying and the progress that they've made, and it makes a real difference. Today's episode is going to be a little different in that I want to provide some thoughts for how you can build this habit of noticing the successes. And I want to provide an opportunity for you to use this time to reflect and to think about, what are you noticing in your child? What growth is happening? First, I want to just say that it takes intentional thought and effort to build this habit. This does not come easy to most of us. That's why so many people talk about keeping a gratitude journal, that we need to be intentional to look for the things that we're thankful for. Honestly, when one of my daughters was in high school, I had gotten into this really bad habit of only noticing what she was not doing well and what was going poorly and what was happening again, that my attitude towards her started turning really sour, and I didn't like that. So I started keeping this journal, and I wrote down all the things that I could witness and see of her doing well, and ways that I was proud of her, and what I was noticing as her growth and what she was overcoming. I would try to write down one thing every day so that it would start to shift my thoughts. And I didn't have a plan for this in the beginning, but realized shortly after starting it that this would be a really nice thing to give to her and help her see some of the growth and have a way to look back and see the things that I'm celebrating in her. So I just want to say, this takes intentional effort for us to shift our thoughts in this way. But as you start looking for those opportunities of growth, you'll start noticing them more and more, and try to find times that you can mention this to your child. Maybe something's going poorly and you can say, you know what, I see you're really struggling today, but you know what I have noticed? And then tell them some way that in a similar situation that they would have struggled in the past, but they are doing better now. So maybe they don't have the whole process figured out, but maybe they've made progress in one small step of it. That is still worth celebrating, and especially when they're feeling down. You might also try to find opportunities that your child can practice what they are doing well. Maybe they have come a long way in being able to think through situations, and maybe they call and say, hey, mom, I'm trying to figure out what to do here. Can you help me think through this? You can say, yeah, I'm happy to help with that. You've been doing great at that. How can I help you today? Finding those times that encourages them can be so helpful. And then, as I mentioned, maybe keep a journal of the things that you're noticing about your child. And then you can look back on that and see where they started and how far they've come in the last 6 months, the last year. Whether you share it with them or not is not the point. This is for your growth and for your transformation, to change your thoughts about how you see your child. And sometimes, even just on those hard days, looking back and saying, wow, a year ago they couldn't do that, can be really encouraging for your mama soul. As I mentioned, what we look for is what we find. So I want to just encourage you to be looking for the best in your child while also acknowledging all the things we've been talking about in the previous episodes, that they have unique challenges. They're going to have times that they have higher support needs. They're going to have times that their emotions get out of control, but they still have times that they are successful, and we need to celebrate those. So I'm going to give you some questions you can think about. I'll put all of these in the comments below and give you an opportunity right now. If it would be helpful for you to pause this as you hear each question and think through your answer. Hopefully they are short enough that something comes to mind that you could write down, but maybe also can help you think about other times that you can notice this. First question is, what is one thing that your teen or young adult can do now that would have been really hard for them last year? The second one is, what was a recent moment where you caught a glimpse of their maturity and their independence? Third, what's one way your teen has learned to manage something better than they used to? Fourth, what strength do you see showing up more consistently in your teen or young adult now? And finally, what is one thing about who your teen is becoming that makes you thankful? Think about their character and not just what they're doing. Be intentional to celebrate the wins, no matter how small they are. Acknowledging the successes can help provide some momentum to help your teen or young adult as they are learning about who they are, how they interact with the world, and what they need to be successful. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.